Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about something super important. I think it's probably one of the most under-talked about topics in all of coaching, and it's the high-ticket coaching mindset. We talk about mindset, and I think that most people, when it comes to business and building a high-ticket coaching business, they struggle with mindset. It is one of the biggest debilitators, the hurdles or objections or obstacles that we need to work through to build successful businesses. And the core premise of this whole video is going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is focus. All right, let's get stuck in. We're going to cover 4 very important topics here. The first topic we're going to cover is the 2 killers of dreams. This is the thing that is killing people's dreams, and it's preventing them from moving forward. It's mindset stuff that's crushing them, and I see so many people struggling with this day in and day out. Number 2, we're going to talk about passion versus skills. There's a big debate going on about which is more important and what this means. I'm going to dive into this from my perspective and tell you what I think. And I think it's going to give you a lot of insight into how to think about building your business or going into and growing a high-ticket coaching business. Number 3, we are going to cover the 4 pillars of a peak mind. This is critical to the understanding, and it's my perspective on the tools that I use keep me on track and help me build my business, and these are fundamental building blocks to having a peak mind. So we're going to talk about that, and then finally I'm going to go over something that I think is quite unique, and I think you're going to get some great value out of this. I want you to stick around till the end, and we're going to talk about my killer mindset practices and how I've built a system or a formula to keep me in check every day so I can create success and build a successful world-class coaching business. Now, I would love for you to provide me your opinions. In the comments below, tell me what you think about mindset, what stuff you're struggling with, and what you think about this video in general to help us get clarity and help you get clarity. Your opinion matters. So go ahead and comment below and let us know what you think. All right, I want to dive into a little bit of a story and give you an understanding of what my journey has been like in terms of mindset, and to understand the perspective of where I'm coming from and how I'm trying to help you. And this is my timeline. And so when I was 18 years old, I got into entrepreneurship. I've been around with entrepreneurship before that. As a kid, I used to sell stuff, but at 18, I started getting really into wanting to be an entrepreneur, having my own business, making my own way, all that type of stuff. And I was very fortunate to have some good mentors in my life that helped me initially get really clear about where I was going. And by the time I was 24, I had made my first million. Now you can imagine at 24, the world at your feet, you're making a lot of money, you've got all these things happening for you, and my business was just growing. But what happened was, at just before 30, everything came tumbling down. I lost everything. I lost all my assets. I'd invested in real estate. I had a successful business, relationship, all of this just fell apart, and this was just after the GFC. And I know a lot of people lost a lot of money and businesses went down at that time. But during this period of time here, this was an amazing experience. I learned so much in this growth period that it was building the foundation blocks to my life. But what happened was, is I got here and I hit rock bottom. It was a really tough time. I can imagine losing everything and going below your normal, right? Going into debt, having a whole lot of stuff negatively happening to you. Now, it took me quite a few years to start building up to a place where I was back on track, right? Nearly 8 to 12 years of growth and getting myself into a position where I was able to get back onto the ladder and get back into entrepreneurship. During this time, I was working in a job, and this job was interesting. I got into construction and I built myself up a very successful career where I got up to running construction projects of more than 180, 150, 180 million dollars each, high-rise projects. And I did that in a very short period of time. It's because I'm driven, I work hard, and I'm very committed to something. If I get stuck into something, I want to make the most of it and make it happen really well. But then I got here, and this is when I quit my job kind of roundabout here and got back into entrepreneurship again. Because once you're bitten by entrepreneurship and you're making a success of it, you always want to get back to that place again, right? All the learnings that I had from here, right, were very transferable, and I've used a lot of that stuff over the years to build my business. But the key ingredient to having success has been mindset. At some point, I realized that I needed to do something different to get to a place where I was going to have success. And so the growth up here has been quite extraordinary. as we've been getting more and more successful over the last few years. Right now, getting up to $4.2 million in the last 2 years. Now, I've spent a lot of time and energy self-educating, more than $263,000 on self-education, coaching, consulting, courses, help, all that type of stuff to help me grow and get better at business, improve stuff. All of this self-education has given me so much leverage. It's been the most important leverage ever to help for the mindset, right? We run 2 successful businesses, one in real estate, one in business coaching. We've done over 12 million in sales over the last few years. These results that I'm speaking from, I understand the key components of mindset, and we sell high ticket products all the way from $5,000 all the way to $50,000. Depending on the clients that we serve. So when it comes to high ticket coaching, I know a few things, and I would like to share my experience and my knowledge with you to give you some guidance and understanding. Now, we help our clients get to $100,000 a month, 60 to 80% profit margins. We help them do this 3 to 7 times faster, and most importantly, we do this with 0 burnout, because a lot of people in the coaching, or anybody that starts a business in any sector, the biggest thing that kills a lot of people is burnout. They get to a point where they're so overwhelmed, so stressed, so worn out, they don't get anywhere. So if you want to learn more, and I'll give away as much free information as I possibly can, subscribe to our channel so you can get more of this updated information. And I'm going to share as much with you as I possibly can over the coming months. So go ahead and subscribe to become part of that. Excellent. Now, we need to understand what is high ticket coaching. High ticket coaching is where you're providing a business that provides huge value, and you're selling to clients at a higher price point. So high ticket coaching is anywhere for me from 5,000, 5K upwards, right? Upwards to, you can sell it to 100K. I've seen some people selling 100K products. We sell 50K products, packages. So in this space, there is a lot of mindset involved in this. And to be able to have a successful high ticket coaching business, you need to have these 3 components. You need to have equity. Equity is the perceived value that you have. And guess what? Value or equity, I'd say 80% of that is the mindset, right? If you want to provide a good product, and we're going to talk about this in a minute when we talk about skills, is your mindset is about 80% of your value that you get out of this, right? And I'll explain why I think that in a minute. The other thing you need is, and this is obvious, is clients. And here's the thing, if you've got clients and you need high value clients, if you're selling high ticket, you can't sell high ticket products to somebody that hasn't got the money for it. So they have to be a certain type of person. And when you're speaking to that certain type of person, you have to have the right mindset to be able to get them over the line, right? To talk to them. And most of those clients want that perceived value. They want that equity. They want to know that they're buying into something of value. The other thing you also need is control, because running a successful high ticket business means putting all of this in place means you also have control. And control means systems and people around you leverage to be able to drive a good, successful, profitable business. When you have these key components in place, then everything works. But today we're talking about the mindset component, which is part of our system, which comes into equity. And equity is the most foundational component to driving a successful business. If you don't have equity or perceived value, you don't have anything. Now, these are the 2 killers. The 2 killers of dreams, right? And so many people struggle with this. Fear of failure, and the other one, distraction. These are the core killers. Everybody that I speak to, and I don't think I know anyone who is successful that doesn't prescribe to this type of thinking. Now, here's the thing, and it works something like this. You are here now, and here is where you want to be, your goal, right? And those goals are wealth, health, happiness, confidence, whatever that is, to achieve, to have the life you want. Really, the simplicity of this is that if you're here and you want to get here, it's a pretty straight line, right? There is nothing confusing about this. It just, you've got to go on that line. That's where you got to go. You know where you got to go. It's not complicated. The problem is that what happens for most people is that they get caught up in these vortexes of self-doubt and fear of failure. Now, fear of failure comes with a whole lot of its own, problems or underlying issues. For instance, imposter syndrome, doubt. There's a few things here that go on underneath the fear of failure. But fear of failure is one of the biggest internal battles that we face and battle with every day, day in, day out, day in, day out. And all of these other things are kind of a subset of this fear of failure. And then on the other side, we've got distraction. And on this area of distraction, we deal with things like people, emergencies, media. These are all huge things that are literally pulling us apart every day. And so if you want to have success, if you want to have a strong mindset, the formula is really simple. You have to learn to manage all of these, stop all of these, and then literally you want to be able to stay focused. That's the simplicity of it. And what happens when you stay focused, a whole lot of amazing things happen. So for me, one of the key ingredients we're talking about today is the power of focus. As a high-ticket coach or somebody that's selling high-ticket products, focus is everything. And I'll explain a little bit more why this is all so valuable. When you are focused on your tasks, on your business, on one thing, on a specific priority or a set of priorities that are getting you towards there, the journey becomes a lot easier. When I had my failure, one of the key things that caused me to lose everything was these things here: the distraction, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, complacency, the things that weren't driving me forward. I lost sight of the bigger picture, of the goal, and I went off path. And that's why it fell apart for me. So I implore you not to let that happen to you, because it can be very devastating. Growing a business takes focus. Mindset to sell anything comes from focus. Now, I want to talk about this big context here, right? Passion versus skills. There's so much debate out there, and it's actually a pop culture thing where people are telling you every day in school, and it's become a huge thing to follow your passions. I can tell you now, after many years of being around business and business people and learning from successful people and being successful ourselves, that passion is rubbish. If you start your journey with passion, you'll only end up in a place that's not going to be successful for you for the most part. For instance, if you start doing something that you enjoy and you don't have any skills to do it, right? It's very soon going to become apparent that doesn't matter about this passion. This passion means nothing, because people will never pay for passion. Your clients will never pay for passion. What they will pay for, however, is the skills that you have to get them somewhere, from A to B. Let's talk about two big icons in the space. We'll talk about the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus Williams. We'll talk about Tiger Woods. Now, this is across the board. You'll see this time and time and time again, these types of stories, right? Tiger Woods did not have a passion for golf when he first started. His father had a passion for golf, and his family were encouraging him to build skills. And they worked with him consistently every day for his whole childhood, all the way through into his adulthood, to improve those skills. What happened was Tiger Woods turned those skills into a huge profit. You see, skills made the game-changing thing for him to get into something that he then became passionate about. He then became so good that no one could beat him. And by doing that, it was a drive, it was motivational, it was everything for him. The skills were the thing that set him free, that set him apart. He wasn't passionate, but he became passionate after he had the skills. When he became so good at it, no one else could beat him. Same again, the Williams sisters, right? And in the beginning, they were just kids. They didn't have a passion, intrinsic passion for tennis to make them world famous. But at some point, their skills drove them to become so good, people started talking about them. They were becoming more confident. They were winning games. People started inviting them to places. Things started happening. But it wasn't the passion that they followed that got them there. It was the skills that they developed that got them into the fame and fortune that they have. And so, going back to what I was saying, in terms of selling high-ticket coaching or building a business or for whatever matter that might be, skills are your number one driver, right? If you follow passion, it's going to drive you down a path of no return. And the reason for that is, doesn't matter how passionate you are about anything, if you don't have the skills to back it up, you have nothing. So I always say, if you want to build a successful business and have the ability to drive great results, maybe infinite results, learn the number one thing you need to know. Learn the skills you need to have to drive that. Skills are important. And so many people I see don't put enough value onto the building of skills. And skills comes from practice, repetitive practice, doing it over and over and over and over and over again until you become so good, no one can argue with you that you are amazing at that thing. And this is a key component of mindset. When I took that on board, everything changed for me. And I realized that out of everything I needed to do in my business and life, and I focus on that every day, is building skills, getting skills happening, or hiring people that have the skills that I need to do what I need to do, and good skills. Right, so let's talk about the 4 pillars. You want to have a peak mind. Everybody wants to have the best mindset, because mindset is everything. We're playing the game of mindset. In business, it's not the game of money, it's the game of mindset. Those with the strongest mindset win. And the mindset component is focus, right? Focus. What is that key thing that you can stay on? Because what happens when you stay focused, right? Your products become better, your offers become better, skills become better, delivery becomes better, your value increases. All of these things are a huge benefit that happen from focus. And when you do all of these things, you can drive an infinitely successful business. Now, these are the 4 pillars of a peak mind. And if you're not in control of these 4 pillars, you'll struggle day in and day out. I found this to be true in everything that I've done, and all the people that I've spoken to, is that if one of these pillars are not working for you, then you're going to lose a battle. I've seen it in my life. I've seen it in all the people that are successful around me in my life. I've seen it in all the people that have become successful through who we've helped. It's just a fundamental principle. So these core pillars start with environment. Your environment is super important in that everything around you, how you set yourself up, the people you have around you, how you protect yourself from distraction, how you do your daily living, your practices. That environmental aspect is huge. It probably accounts for a good 50% of all these other components, right? The other pillar is your belief system, how you think. Thinking is the thing that's going to drive you forward. How you think about your life, how you think about the problems, how you think about people, how you think about your business. This is a big driver. So it's fundamental that you have your thinking thought processes working for you. And how you do that is by feeding it positivity, feeding it good things, education, learning from others, getting coaches to help you, finding ways to leverage you out to build your thinking process. Because when you're thinking positively, when you're thinking confidently, things happen, you move forward. The next layer that I'd like to talk about is feeling. Now this is huge because I see this so much. A lot of people fail with their feelings. And as a guy, it's a hard thing to work on sometimes. Your emotions can be a big killer to success, to business, to relationships, to everything. And so if you know how to understand your feelings, and it's a tough one, right? I get it, because everything you do, every driving thing that you do in your life is fundamentally pinned around your feelings, your emotion. Your emotion is probably more powerful than your thinking, because you can think positively, but if your emotions mess you up, it's going to mess up your thinking. Now, there's a lot of research and science, and I've read a lot of books around this component of emotions. And emotions, for me, the one core thing when it comes to focus that I think of, because I can think positive. It's easy for me to work through a problem. If there's something happens, I'm always on the front foot saying, okay, how can I solve this problem? There's obvious this problem, how am I going to solve it? But I need my emotions to back me up. I need not to have the negative feelings about doing this thing. I need to not have that voices in my head that tell me that I can't do it. Those feelings are vitally important. When you know how to manage this component, it helps to really leverage your life, because the thinking and the feelings, they work together, but they can put you in the right direction, keep you motivated, but they can also put you right off path, get you distracted. Feelings get you very distracted. Emotion can run you off path super quickly. So they work together, obviously, and you need to work on them as 2 separate components, but they add value to your focus, right? If you're feeling good and you're thinking in the right way, that's a big stepping stone forward, right? If you have an environment that's running positively for you, you've set your environment up the right way, you have it organized, you have it designed so that it doesn't distract you. Like my office that I've set up over here, which you can't see, is set up in a way that I don't get distracted, and I can keep on top of things and I can manage everything succinctly. And then finally, it's the doing. The order in which you do things and how you do things and what things you prioritize, a huge block to creating focus, right? If you're doing the wrong things, it's going to pull you off path. If you're thinking the wrong things, it's going to pull you off path. And if you're feeling the wrong things, it's going to pull you off path. But if you're doing all of these things together and you have an environment set up and you've created a formula around this, boom, you're going to stay super focused. Nothing can pull you off path. Nothing can pull you off path. And when you have that, selling high-ticket products or building a high-ticket coaching business, whatever that might look like, becomes way more easier. And that's what we're aiming for. So for me, good focus and good mindset comes from daily routines, right? And I'm going to break down one of my days, and this type of day would repeat over and over and over again with a few variances in between. But I keep myself very disciplined and I have everything on calendar. I live and run my life on my calendar. Only over the last probably 10 years now, the calendar has become super important, right? And so everything is mapped out for me. I know what to expect every day. I know what I'm going to do every day, like recording content, doing ads, dealing with people, sales. Everything has got its own time and place. When we break it down, this is what a typical day would look like for me. And after reading a lot of literature about this, this is for me the best way to manage my time and my life. Right, so I have a wake-up time, right, which is 4:30 a.m. Every day, I wake up at 4:30 a.m. I start getting ready. So between 4:30 and 5, I'm getting ready. Between about 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., we have a very strict routine of exercise and meditation, right? Exercise and meditation. Early in the morning, there's nothing stopping me. My brain is fresh. I'm feeling good. We don't do too long of an exercise routine, but we do it consistently. So we get up and we get cracking straight into it. Then by about 6:30 a.m., which is around about here, we start with deep focus session, right? So I don't even sometimes shower. I know that might sound bad, but I don't shower for this first part of the day, right? I get straight into it. I start working. The reason I do this is because at this time in the morning, after exercise, after meditation, my brain is on fire. I'm super, super pumped and I've got a whole lot of stuff going on and I do deep work, right? I block my calendar out and I get stuck into the most important priorities that I need to do, the money-making tasks that drive our business forward, right? This happens in this period all the way up until probably 12:30 p.m., right? So all of that time is focus time. I'm getting shit done. And then at this time, between 12 and 1:30, it's lunch and plunge, right? So I have lunch and I have a cold plunge, usually a cold shower, but if I get a chance, I'll have an ice bath as well. Because by the time I get here, I might have 1 or 2 little breaks in between just to freshen up. But by the time I get to here, my brain is a little bit cooked. And so taking a break and then getting into a cold shower really helps me get back on track. It re-energizes me, reactivates me. And then what happens is we go into maker time, right? This is where we're doing sales calls, meetings, managing the business, keeping everything going and creating revenue, right? So during this time, deep work is creating content like what I'm doing now. And in this time, it's sales meetings, sales calls, managing the business, keeping everything together and keeping the whole thing productive, right? Then we get to this time of the day, right? And I will stop around about 6:30 p.m., right? And there will be a few breaks in between here, just like breathers, stretching, keeping myself together. And then there's dinner. So this is management time, right? Every day is pretty much the same. Then I'll head down here and we'll do a little bit of just tidying up and planning for the next day. And then probably around about this time here, 7:30, just before 8 p.m., I'm starting to get ready to go to bed. And just here between probably 8 and 9, I will do self-education. All the time, self-education. Self-education happens right at the end of the day, kind of running down. I'll read books, watch videos, learn stuff, pick up new skills. And this happens every day, repetitively. However, let me break it down for you a little bit more, how we do things. So I run on a 2-week schedule, right? Because you can burn yourself pretty quickly running a high-ticket business. So 7 days of high performance, 5 days of extreme performance, really pushing myself in the exercise, working hard, putting extra effort in. And then what happens is we're going to have, at the end, I'll take 2 days and there will be just rest, right? 100% rest. I get into a zone where I just release and hang out with my daughter, spend time with her, and just get really relaxed and not do too much stuff. Oftentimes I'll, sleep during the day and do the things I don't usually do during this time. Now, this is how I run my business, how I run my life. It's 12 days of high intensity peak work, and then 2 days of full 100% rest, and then let's kind of rinse and repeat. This is how we've been able to keep our stuff together. Now, bear in mind, for some people, this might look like a lot. That might be extreme, might be too much. But for me, because we've gotten so good at a skill set and we've done so many things and we enjoy what we do, this enjoyment, it makes it easy. When you become really good at what you do and people recognize that and that you can get results happening, this working ethic or this hard work ethic here, it becomes really easy to do. As long as you've got time to relax and recover and you actually put effort into that relaxing and recover, and even during the year you'll go away on some holidays and have a break, it's not that hard to do. And the more you can do that and stay focused, the better you're going to be, and the more skills you get, the better your whole life becomes, because you're feeling good about the results that you're getting. Now, that's just my perspective. That's what I do to keep on track every day. And this has been one of the coolest, I think the most productive I've ever been in my life by doing all of this stuff, right? Now, I'd like you to go and watch this video, get clear on your perfect client. When you get clear on your perfect client, the mindset stuff becomes important, because mindset doesn't matter if you don't become clear on your perfect avatar. If you don't have your avatar working for you, everything else, mindset, doesn't matter, because you'll never be able to move forward selling the wrong thing to the wrong people. All right? Excellent. The more you stay focused, the more you stay on path, the more you start honing those skills in one direction, the better off your life's going to be, the better off you're going to be, and the better your business is going to be.